Do you know those days when everything seems lost? When the answer does not come, the money does not give, the health weakens, or someone you love is suffering, and you no longer know what to do? You may be living this now, in silence, carrying a pain that no one sees. I understand, because there are times when the soul screams for help, but the world keeps spinning, as if nothing is happening. It is in these moments that faith becomes the only hope. What if I told you that there is a simple, meaningful gesture that can make room for the impossible to happen? Something that has been passed from generation to generation with results that many call miracles. Today, you will find out the hidden power behind a rose. Yes, a simple rose, placed in a special place in your home. But that's not all. You will learn how this rose, joined with your faith, can touch the heart of one of the most powerful holy of Christian devotion, Saint Rita of Cascia, the holy of the impossible. This is not just a beautiful story. It is an invitation, a call to hope. Because if you have faith, even small like a grain of sand, Santa Rita can turn your pain into grace. And the miracle you expect so much, it may be on its way. Stay with me until the end of this video. I will show you exactly how to do this ritual and how to open your heart to receive the impossible. If this message has touched your heart, take advantage and subscribe here to the channel. Together, we will strengthen our faith, share stories of hope, and learn practices that can transform your life. Activate the bell so you don't lose any prayers. No light message. Your faith starts with a step, and that click can be the first. Raise your heart and prepare your soul, for today a secret of faith, guarded in the heart of devotion to Cassia's Holy Rita, will be revealed to you. If you ever felt at the limit of your strength, if your chest has already housed such a deep yearning that it seemed an impossible whisper, then this message is a divine letter addressed directly to your soul. Let's go together as a simple gesture. The simple offering of a rose in a special place in your home can become the key that opens the doors of the sky to a miracle in your life. This is not a superstition, but an act of faith rooted in the history of one of the most beloved and powerful Santas, the lawyer of impossible causes. Have you ever felt you need a miracle urgently? Does that kind of divine intervention that seems distant, almost unreachable in the dimension of your problems? Perhaps it is a gateway that does not open, the health of someone you love who is weakened, peace in a home that has been taken by discord, or an emptiness in the soul that seems nothing to fill. This feeling of being in a dead end with a tight heart and teary eyes is a human feeling, a pain that connects us in our vulnerability. And it is exactly at this point of fragility that Santa Rita's strength manifests itself in a more extraordinary way. She, who knew suffering in her most diverse forms, such as wife, mother, widow, and nun, understands the silent language of our tears. She understands what it is to expect against all hope. Santa Rita is not just a historical figure. It is a living presence in the faith of millions of people, a spiritual friend who walks by our side, interceding for us with God, especially when the word impossible echoes in our thoughts. Its story is not a fairy tale, but a testimony that faith, even when tested to the extreme, can flourish in the most arid terrain, as well as the most beautiful rose. Now tell me in the comments, what is the miracle you are waiting for? Write down here with faith the name of the person, the situation, or simply the word, miracle. Let's create a prayer chain in the comments. I read everything, I pray with you, and together let's cry for Saint Rita. Right now, grace starts with your word. Think for a moment in a rose. Observe it in your mind. Feel the velvety texture of your petals, the delicate firmness of your stem, the stunning beauty of its shape. The rose is more than a flower. It is a universal symbol of love, beauty, the mystery of life. But on the journey of Santa Rita, the rose carries an even deeper meaning, a divine signature. Imagine Cassia's harsh winter, with snow covering the earth and cold freezing hope. It was on his deathbed, amid his last earthly trial, that Rita, already consumed by the disease, made a request that sounded like a delirium. He asked a cousin to bring him a rose from his former garden. How could a rose flourish in the snow and ice? It was an impossible request. But the cousin, for love and respect, went to the garden. And there, challenging all the laws of nature, a single red and lush rose bloomed in the white of the snow. That was not just an inexplicable phenomenon, it was a message from God. It was proof that for him, and for those who trust him, there is no impossible. The rose became the seal of Rita's power of intercession, a visible sign that her faith had touched the Creator's heart in an extraordinary way. This rose in winter is the symbol of hope that blooms when everything around seems dead. It is the promise that, even in our existential winter, in the snow of our difficulties and the cold of our pains, a miracle can bloom. It is the love of God manifesting itself unexpectedly, tender and beautiful. Bringing this rose into our house is therefore bringing this powerful symbol close to us. It is an act of faith that says, I believe. I believe that even in the winter of my life, a miracle can flourish. I trust the intercession of the one who received from God the grace of obtaining the impossible. The story of Santa Rita is a poem of pain and faith. Born in a time of conflict and revenge, she dreamed of religious life, but accepted the will of her parents and married a man of difficult and violent temperament. For 18 years, she lived a marriage of suffering, but never gave up. With her patience, her prayers, and her unconditional love, she not only tamed her husband's heart, but converted him, bringing him to the path of faith. Peace, however, was brief. Her husband was murdered, victim of the enmities of the past. And Rita's pain became even more acute when she saw her 2 young children, consumed by the desire for revenge. She feared for their soul. In an act of extreme and painful faith, she pleaded to God to bring them from this world before they committed a deadly sin, staining their souls with the blood of revenge. And God, in his mysterious wisdom, heard her. His children fell ill and died, but not without forgiving his father's killers, thanks to his mother's tireless intercession. Widow and childless, Rita sought to realize her dream of youth, to join the Augustinian convent, but the doors closed to her. The nuns feared that their presence, linked to a family marked by violence, brought discord into the monastery. Once again, the impossible rose before her. But Rita didn't give up. She prayed with fervor to her saints of devotion, St. John the Baptist, St. Augustine, and St. Nicholas of Tolentino. And the miracle happened. One night, she was miraculously transported into the convent, even with the locked doors. Faced with such a prodigy, the nuns could no longer deny God's will and welcomed it. It was in the convent that she lived her last years in prayer, penance, and service, and where she received the stigma on her forehead, a thorn of the crown of Christ, who carried as a seal of her union with the sufferings of the Savior. Santa Rita's life teaches us that faith does not exempt us from suffering, but gives us the strength to cross and transform it. Each no she received, every door that closed, every pain that tore her soul was an opportunity for her faith to become even stronger, purer, more unshakable. And the miracle of the rose in winter was the coronation of this life of surrender, the final proof that his dialogue with heaven was intimate and direct. It is, par excellence, the saint of the impossible causes because she herself lived the impossible and won him by faith. Now, my friend, my sister of faith, I invite her to make a simple gesture, but loaded with a deep spiritual meaning. Take a rose. It can be of any color, for each color carries its own sacred symbolism. The red of the passion of Christ and love, the white of purity, the pink of gratitude and affection. The important thing is that this rose is the vehicle of your faith. Find in your home a place that is special for you. It can be alongside an image of Santa Rita or another saint of his devotion. It can be on your little personal altar, that corner where you say your prayers. It can be in the window of your room, where the first rays of sunny enter, symbolizing the light of Christ that dissipates the darkness. It can even be in a place that represents your pain or your desire. If you seek healing, put it near the bed. If you seek peace in the home, put it in the room, where the family meets. The physical place is less important than your heart's intention. When putting the rose in this place, do not do it mechanically. Make this a sacred moment. Hold the rose in your hands, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. Connect with your pain, your desire, with your impossible cause. Don't be afraid to present God and Holy Rita your truth, no matter how hard it is. Feel the weight of your burden, but also feel the flame of hope that still shines in your soul. Talk to Santa Rita as who talks to a confidant friend. Tell her her story, her fears, her anguish. Present to her your impossible request. And when putting the rose in the chosen place, hand over with it your order. Let that rose become the symbol of your deposited faith, a memorial of your encounter with the sacred. Every day when passing through it renews its prayer, not anxiety, but with the serene confidence of who knows it was heard. Let the beauty of that flower remind you of the beauty of the miracle that can flourish in your life. And to seal this act of faith, let's pray together, with an open heart and the soul delivered. Pray with me, aloud or in the silence of your heart, this prayer to Saint Rita, the saint of the impossible causes. O glorious and powerful Saint Rita de Cascia, lawyer of impossible causes, refuge at the last minute, help in moments of despair. Look at me, your devotee, that today I come to your feet with my heart loaded, but the soul full of confidence. You who knew the bitterness of suffering in this life, who cried the pains of a misunderstood wife, a mother who feared by the salvation of her children, a helpless widow, a religious to whom the doors closed. You who, for all this, understand the language of my tears and the weight of the burden I carry. In front of you, O holy of the impossible, I present this rose. She is small and fragile, just as I feel now, but it also carries the beauty, hope, and promise of the miracle that God performed through you, making it sprout in the harshest winter. May this rose be the sign of my faith. May your perfume that rises to the skies take my cry, my supplication, my most urgent and necessary request. Saint Rita, I ask you, mention your impossible cause here. I put this request in your heart of mother and friend. I know that my merits are few, but your intercession with God is powerful. You are living proof that for God nothing is impossible. Just as the rose has sprung into the snow, I ask you to reach God the grace that a miracle will flourish in the winter of my life. May the doors that are closed open, that the paths that seem to the way out are revealed, that the pain that torments me becomes a witness to faith. Teach me, Santa Rita, to have your patience in the trials. Teach me to have your perseverance in prayer. Teach me to have your love that forgives, which transforms, that all supports. That even if the divine answer is not as I hope or when I wish, I can, as you, accept the Father's will with the serene heart and the unshakable faith. O Santa Rita, religious holy, you who have received on the forehead the stigma of the Passion of Christ, join my sufferings to his and yours, that they may become a source of grace and salvation. Protect my family, bless my home, illuminate my decisions. My lawyer in this cause, I trust you, and in all the needs of my life today, I trust you, I wait for you. And in advance I thank you, for I know that your hand is already extended in my favor, interceding for me next to the throne of the Most High. Amen. Allow me to share some amazing testimonies of people who have experienced miracles through this practice. These stories will inspire you and strengthen your faith in the power of Santa Rita's intercession. Teresa, from Mexico, faced the loss of his home due to mortgage execution. She had been unemployed for months and had exhausted all her economies. The bank threatened to dump his family in a few days. In despair, she learned about the practice of roses and decided to try it. She put a red rose near an image of Santa Rita and prayed with all her heart. The next day, she received a call from a company to which she had applied months earlier. They offered him a job with a higher salary than she had never won. In a week, she managed to negotiate with the bank and save her home. Another powerful testimony comes from Michael from the United States. Her teenage daughter had been missing 3 weeks ago, and police had lost hope of finding her. Michael was devastated and felt completely helpless. A friend told him about Santa Rita and the practice of roses. Although he had never been particularly religious, his despair led him to try. He put a white rose near a crucifix and prayed to Santa Rita every day. After 10 days of prayer, he received a call from his daughter. She had been kept arrested against her will, but managed to escape. She was found safely and was able to return home. Maria, from Italy, tells how Santa Rita helped save her marriage. Her husband had left her for another woman and had filed a divorce request. Maria was heartbroken and didn't know what to do. She had been married for 25 years and couldn't imagine her life without her husband. She began the practice of roses, putting a pink rose near a statue of Santa Rita and praying for her husband's return. She did not pray for revenge or punishment, but for healing and reconciliation. After a month of fervent prayers, her husband returned home. He told him that he had made a terrible mistake and begged for his forgiveness. Today, their marriage is stronger than ever. Another testimony comes from David, Canada, which faced a diagnosis of terminal cancer. The doctors gave him just a few months old, and there was nothing more they could do. David's family began the practice of roses, placing fresh roses next to his bed and praying Santa Rita for healing. The whole family participated in prayers, and friends and neighbors joined them. During their next medical appointment, doctors were surprised to find that cancer had redeemed. Today, 2 years later, David is free from cancer and living a full and healthy life. These testimonies show us that no situation is too impossible for Santa Rita. Whether with health problems, relationship problems, financial difficulties, or any other challenge, Santa Rita can help. The secret is to approach it with total faith and confidence, just as these people did. I want to encourage you to experience this practice by yourself. If you are watching this video, it is probably because you are facing an impossible situation. Maybe you feel you already tried everything and nothing worked. Perhaps it is on the edge and no longer know who to turn to. This may be the answer you were looking for. Do not let doubt or skepticism prevent you. Even if you are not sure if you believe in miracles, what do you have to lose? The practice costs nothing except a rose and its time in prayer. But the potential benefits are unlimited. You may be the next person to experience a miracle for the intercession of Santa Rita. When experiencing this practice, I encourage you to share your experience in the comments below. Whether you receive a dramatic miracle or simply find peace and comfort, your testimony can help someone who is having difficulty. We create a community of faith and support when we share our experiences. Remember that miracles do not always happen immediately. Some people receive their miracles in a few days, while others may need to wait for weeks or months. The important thing is to maintain faith and continue to pray. Santa Rita's own life shows us that patience and perseverance are essential qualities to receive divine intervention. Also remember that miracles come in many forms. Sometimes the miracle is exactly what we ask for: a cure, a reconciliation,